Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Ankai Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Subiano.
I'm Taylor Vera.
And on this episode of Our Take, we are going to bring to you our initial impressions of Star Wars and Disney Plus's newest original show titled Andor. This is the story of Cassian Andor before the events of Rogue One take place. This show premiered on Wednesday, and there was a 3-episode premiere, which
was not expecting.
I remember, like, once I realized it was 3 episodes, I remember like hearing that it was 3 episodes at some point, but I didn't remember prior to. So, yeah, we got 3 episodes worth of content to cover. We're gonna do this in traditional fashion, talk about it spoiler free real quick, give you guys a score, let you know whether or not you should be watching it, and then we'll dive into some spoilers and talk about some of the finer details. So, for one thing I will say about this show is I enjoy the tone of the show. Whether or not the show is going to pan out to be something good, I still have yet to kind of decide, but I am enjoying the tone so far. So, yeah. How do you feel?
Overall, like I guess I would kind of agree. Like it feels good so far.
Yeah.
But I can't say that like I'm optimistic about it. Like I don't know how it's gonna be down the line. Especially because for it being, I wasn't expecting 3 episodes.
Right.
But if it didn't have 3 episodes, I would have a very different opinion than how I do now.
Okay.
But because there's 3, I think it seems enjoyable so far.
So like what you're saying is the first episode made you feel
the first 2 episodes, I felt very different,
and then the third one kind of
once I got to the third one, it leveled out.
Okay, interesting. Because that for me, it was kind of just a steady increase. There's something that happens in the very first episode that I was like, oh, that's how we're doing this. This is gonna be that kind of show, and then it kind of just progressed into a show that I potentially could see being fun.
Yeah.
So,
but the overall theme of it being, more, I guess, regular person focused, right? Like it's not like a Jedi or anything.
Yeah.
It's not even a bounty hunter.
No.
It's just a guy, dude.
Yeah. And I will say for those of you guys that a majority of what's on Disney Plus is for children and for the younger generations. This show's tone and this show's atmosphere is a lot more adult oriented and a lot darker. And so I would recommend maybe watching it before you decide to let your kids watch it. I mean, there's not anything like obscenely.
I don't think there's anything that your kid can't watch. It's just I don't think they would understand certain things.
It's just more.
So they just honestly wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. I don't.
It's still Disney. So I wouldn't worry about it being like...
It's not... There's not blood, guts, sex, nudity, or any of that. It's just the way that certain things happen and the events that happen are definitely more adult-oriented and take a little bit more complex of a mind to understand. So, I would maybe check it out a little bit before you decide whether or not to let your kid watch it. But I like it because of that. I like it because it's a show that is obviously geared more towards a older audience instead of younger people, So I enjoy it for that reason.
Yeah, no, it's super good.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Okay, so score real quick, just based off of the first 3 episodes. I'm sitting at like a 7. I think it has potential, could be good. The first 3 episodes were more or less solid, but I'm not like blown away or like, oh my god, this is the best thing about that Star Wars has produced yet. So
yeah. As an overall for 1 through 3, I think I'm gonna give this a 6.
Okay. kind of in that same neighborhood.
Yeah, I would say I was gonna say 7, but honestly, the first two like
I really like certain things that happen.
there's some really good stuff in the show,
and that's why I'm at a 7.
The problem is, I think I could be wrong, but I feel like this show is actually getting praised very well.
It's getting better, like more better reviews than negative. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't see the reason why it's not being criticized equally like everything else. It's still, like good, but there's definitely some issues with the show that we'll get into.
Yeah. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our scores and a quick spoiler free. I think that out of all of the like streaming services stuff that's out right now, this is probably what I'd say to go watch first. Like all the new stuff. Like don't watch She-Hulk or any of that stuff.
Oh man, I would rather watch Rings of Power, but
okay, yeah, my bad. I kind of forgot about that one for a second.
Kind of brand new.
Yeah, but on Disney Plus.
Yeah, for Disney Plus for sure.
Definitely what you should be watching. Yeah, and it's good. And the good thing about it, which is contrary to Rings of Power, these are 35-minute episodes.
Oh yeah, this is way shorter.
It's a easier watch that doesn't take quite as much time. It doesn't take up as much time of your day. Yeah. So I like it.
It's almost weird going back to these.
Yeah, the shorter stuff. Yeah,
because everybody nowadays is like 1 hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Like
I like it. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I like the 35. So I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that this is going to pan out well, and I'm optimistic for the major fact of that this is a 12 episode season.
Oh shit!
This is the longest.
What a twist!
This is the
Disney, right?
Original show that has the longest season of anything on Disney Plus right now, and so for 10. That reason alone, I'm like, oh, did they hear everybody complaining about 6 episode seasons and decide to,
Didn't they used to do 8?
Well, all of the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Captain America and all that stuff is all 6. It's
really?
all 6
I thought it was
episodes.
8.
No, it's 6.
Oh.
It's all 6. That's why I was like, when I found out it was a 3 episode premiere, I was like, they're giving us half the season already? Like, what the hell?
Would suck if it was half the season.
And then when I was watching it, I didn't know it was 12 episodes until after I watched it. So I watched it, and part of me was like, if this is half the season, this kind of sucks.
Oh, this would have been horrible if it was half the season.
But it's a quarter of the season. We're getting 12 episodes of Andor. I don't know for sure whether or not they're releasing it one at a time during the week or if they're going to double up or something. But I think that it's going to be one a week because I think they need to stretch some time for Mandalorian and some other stuff that's coming out. So, but for that reason, I'm actually pretty optimistic. Yeah. I think that
it's a good quick watch, though.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna dive into some spoilers. So if you have not seen the episodes yet, go check them out, and then come back and we'll get through some spoilers together. So this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. Yeah, like I said, man, for the fact that it's 12 episodes, it changed my mind completely about this. Because when I was watching it, I thought it was a 6 episode season, just like all the other stuff that's come out recently. And the whole time I was waiting for more to happen. I was waiting for things to build up quicker and bigger things to happen. And then at the end of the 3rd episode is when Cassian finally, leaves the planet with what's his name? I don't remember his name. It's Stellan's character.
I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, he's
I'll check.
But yeah, we'll pull up the cast list so we have it. But that happened at the end of the 3rd episode, and I was like, man, if this is only halfway through, this is gonna kind of blow. There's so much more that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue I have with the show. Even though it's 12 episodes, that's good. That makes it better. I wouldn't say that makes it good, but it makes it better. The problem with the show that I feel like is strangely overlooked in this show, even though it just came out, is, in my opinion, the first 2 episodes are horrible. And they're literally starting the show off with filler. And the 3rd episode is the only time I feel like the show has actually moved anywhere. And the fact that it took the third episode to actually do something is strange to me. Now, I know it's supposed to be focused on Cassian Andor,
Right.
which Diego Luna is doing great as he was in Rogue One as well. But there's nothing going on. Like in the first two episodes, basically it just gets summed up to when he was a kid, he was on this Ooga Booga planet with all these Rey-looking tribes, because they all just look like Rey to me, because they're just like scavengers with the staff. That they're all blow darts apparently, but why are they holding them like they're spears? And they look, they look good, but like it's just strange. His backstory of where he comes from, right? It's just the Outer Rim planet, but it's just they took like a simple thing and stretched it out amongst the two episodes, when it really could have just been one episode, giving short backstory on his character, where he came from, where he's at, what he's doing, who's taking care of him, like all of that could have just been one episode.
I actually feel the opposite. I wouldn't say that the first two episodes were good, but I don't mind character development like that. In fact, well, I don't want to say I prefer it, but I don't mind it, because to me, the way that the first two episodes felt was that they were really trying to show the complexity of Andor's character. Of like, he came from this Outer Rim planet that was decimated by a mining accident, and there weren't supposed to be anybody there. Like, there weren't supposed to be any survivors there, and it's a big deal for somebody to be from Kenari. And on top of that, he experienced a lot of tragedy as a kid, and then he grew up into this person who, I mean, as of right now, like the way I look at it is up to this point that we've seen in the show, there's not really a whole lot of good that we've seen out of him. You know, I mean, like I'm talking like good versus evil kind of thing. Like a lot of what he's done is kind of like not good stuff. I mean, he killed a guy in cold blood in the first episode, and like obviously those guys were messing with him. And
I wouldn't say it's cold blood. He was acting in self-defense.
The first guy, yeah, but the second guy, he could have walked away. He had the gun. The guy was kneeling. It was an execution shooting. I don't know how. Like, to me, there's not really.
Yeah, but if he lets him go, he
right, then he's gonna
alerts everybody. He gets arrested and probably executed himself. So
yeah. So look,
opinion,
would I make
totally
the same choice? I don't know, because I've never been in that situation. But what I'm saying is, like, that's not really something that you would necessarily expect from a quote unquote good person. You know what I mean? Like, there were definitely other options. He could have pistol whipped him, knocked him out, and then at least gotten away initially. And but
yeah, but he has nowhere to go. He has no money. Like, he can't run. He can't get off the planet.
And this is what I mean, though. What I mean is that they're trying to show that the person that we know from Rogue One, that by the end of Rogue One was this, rebel hero, didn't start out that way, and his life and the choices that he made leading up to that point weren't always necessarily what we would consider the righteous path. And
yeah, but even in Rogue One, he's not different. He does the same thing, and he's literally recruited for how he acts. So he's not actually changing. So it doesn't actually do anything. He's literally recruited for who he is as a person. From what's his Luthen Rail or something? Rail? I don't know. But Stellan's character.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce his name, but it's like Luthen. No. His character name.
Character name.
But he's recruited for him acting the way he does.
Right.
Which is not even a new character, because Han Solo is the exact same way. He's not actually a good guy, like in the sense that he does good things. He just does it with better intentions, which is no different than Cassian is, because he's in the Rebel Force. He's a spy,
right.
So he's doing bad things for good people.
Right.
So nothing, like, my opinion on him hasn't changed, and it doesn't need to, because it's the beginning of the show. But I'm saying the first two episodes don't do anything.
I feel differently. I feel like the first two episodes give me a deeper understanding of where he came from and what led to him being the way that he is, and I appreciate that for me personally. I appreciate that deeper understanding, and it may just be a personal preference, but I think it's going to come back to be important. I think the whole Canary thing is going to be important down the line, and that's why they put it in there. Could they have done it differently? It could it have been executed better? Probably, but I don't hate the first two episodes, because for me it gives me a deeper understanding of who he is and where he comes from.
Which is fine. But I just think it's overlooked in everybody's eyes, because the same thing happens for another show and then it gets shit on, but in this show it gets praised. It's the same for both.
I think maybe the difference with this show is that we literally know nothing about him outside of Rogue One. Like there's no he doesn't show up in any of the other canon anywhere, and so nobody knows anything, and so there's nothing to compare to. There's nothing to fact check, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing else out there. So this is what we got for Andor.
Even if there's not a whole lot for, like, let's say Rings of Power, but the thing is, like I said, you don't need 2 episodes to formulate the thought of how you feel about him. Like even his backstory, it's literally just the same thing over and over again, and it honestly has way too much screen time for as short as the episodes are, and for, I guess, how many episodes there are, like, total. Like, I didn't need to see his tribe that much, just to get the idea that he was a kid on this planet, which they talk about it, which is all you really need. Seeing it is cool and all, but ultimately what you learn from all of it by the end of it on the 3rd episode is the lady that he's staying with is kind of like the person who kidnapped him.
Yeah, essentially.
Literally kidnapped him because she wanted to give him a better life, but screw all the other kids.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna criticize her for this. Like, she's not doing anything good, but she thinks that she has good intention. But why didn't she save the other kids?
Right.
But anyways, all of that was shown just for that. Now, if they're gonna add anything later, sure. But he's like, they make it known that, like, it's just an outer rim. Nowhere, nobody, like, no place, like, nobody cares about this place. Nobody even knows about this planet. And if you're gonna come out by the end of this show and try to make it look like he's a Skywalker in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, he's so important that he's like, no, like, he has to be nobody because he's just not like a super big character.
We know
not that
the
he's
end
not
point.
Important, but, like, yeah, we know
the end point. We know.
So there's not a whole lot to, like, as far as, like, his backstory goes. Now, his adventure up until we get to the point where we're going to, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen. And by the time you finish the 3rd episode, then it starts moving.
Yeah.
Then he gets recruited. Then he realizes he's joining the rebellion. Then all the cool stuff, like the actual important stuff, starts happening. But the first 2 episodes, it's just a slug fest of, like, the same thing, the same point being dragged over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you don't need 2 episodes for it.
I hear you, but I don't mind it. I don't mind if this was a 6-episode season, then I would 100% be like, what the fuck are you doing?
This 6 episodes, then this thing would be garbage.
Yeah, it would be horrible.
But 12 doesn't make it any better. It just makes it.
I think it does. I
it
think
just
it
gives
gives
it
you more
time
time
to even out. It doesn't mean it's going to be good. It's still like 3 bad. If it was 3 bad episodes and you had 12 episodes, that doesn't change the fact that there are 3 bad episodes. That just means that the show might end up being in a better place than I imagine it right now.
I think it's a little bit different because if you have 12 episodes, you can do more. And so when you set things up, like, I don't know, there's a lot of pieces of the first 2 episodes. Like, obviously there is a heavy influence of of him and his time on Kanari, but there's a lot of like interactions with him and certain characters that I think are gonna come back to play later, like like Bix, obviously.
Which one is Bix?
The female, the
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Intentional, like, probably love interest.
Yeah. Yeah. So her, and then there's
That's gonna
a
have a
few other
tragic
people
ending.
that I think are from Kanari too. Like they're also kids that were part of his tribe. Like the construction worker guy that he asked to cover him. You know what I mean? Like in the first episode after he kills the
pilot.
He's not a pilot.
No. He kills the pilot though.
He kills the
'Cause
they're
he-
like
he-
security guards or whatever.
He
right?
hooks up the.
Oh yeah,
ship.
yeah. He kills the
The friend.
Yeah, that guy.
He's cool.
Yeah, so I think like people like that are also from Kanari, or maybe just are gonna have a deeper meaning later on in the show. And
So I don't think they're from Kanari because they would have. I feel like by the third episode, I feel like he would have had an idea of that. Like even though they
See,
didn't,
I
they
feel
didn't, they didn't commit a crime like Cassian did. But the fact that everybody in the village knew it was him, even though he wasn't supposed to tell anybody that he was from Kanari.
yeah, but maybe he's the only one that let it slip. You know what I mean? Like remember
That would be bad writing if it was.
the other guy. There's one guy that like the guy that beats on the thing with the like
Which one? 'Cause
curly
there's a whole
hair
bunch
with a
of-
green jacket. He's the first one. Like, and he also runs to Bix once he sees the troopers, and he's like, "Hey, like, you know, what's going on?"
The one in the tower, like the main,
No,
or just
man, I wish I could. He's a very small character, but you see him a few times, and he's the first person that bangs on the stuff to start the I don't know what you would call it, the Morse code kind of thing.
yeah, they all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was two things I noticed throughout these episodes that are consistent throughout the 3 episodes, and that is sticks
Yeah.
with like staves and stuff, and banging on things.
Yeah.
It's just their thing.
So he seems like the way that he reacted to everything. It seemed like he was possibly from Kanari, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying, that you didn't like how slow it was in the beginning, and I totally hear you. I am okay with it because I like character development that's like that, and I like or I'm hoping that it's going to come back to play later on in the season because we are getting 12 episodes. So we can move on from that though, because we're just being a dead horse at this point. But it does take a little bit for like things of, you know, big things to happen. Like in the third episode we get, what is it called? What are they called? The police force or whatever.
Servco or something.
There's some kind of like local law enforcement.
No, they're not
essentially.
local. It's like a private corporation.
Or yeah. Sorry, that's a better.
They're like contracted from the
Yeah.
the empire basically.
Yeah. They're like government contractors. That's a better way of putting it. I don't remember the name of their organization though.
Yeah, it's like Servco, something. I don't know, some kind of corporation.
But they're the guys that wear the blue and orange uniforms that we were speculating about in the trailer reactions that we did. Oh, we were trying to figure out, you know, who they were and what they were. And I'm gonna say I don't like their uniform. I don't like it. I don't like the orange. Looks weird to me. They look like Dave and Buster's employees to me.
It's not really the same colors, but
No, but I don't know. This is what it feels. I just don't like it.
this
I don't
whole security company thing is actually my favorite thing that's in this show.
Okay, I don't like their uniforms. Everything else about what I've seen about them so far, I really like, including This is something that I'm pretty sure you noticed and you picked up on real quick, and maybe not everybody understands like the full depth of the scene, but when they're in their ship doing hyperspeed to go to the place, and like the sergeant guy gives his spiel and then he turns it over to the commander and the commander gives his like little pep talk, and it's just so terrible, and everybody's just like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah,
and,
okay,
and then at the end
yeah.
he's like, good luck to us all.
Yeah.
I was just like, that is the epitome of a fresh out of college first lieutenant trying to give a
second lieutenant
or whatever butter bar trying to give a pep talk to a bunch of seasoned enlisted guys.
So this is you honestly, you hit it right on the nail. This is
so
something
great.
that is totally missed probably by a good majority of the audience.
It's so great.
But for those of you who have served, whether you're in the United States or not, because I'm going to say this about this show, is it's very weird, but I still like it, is this organization is portrayed as a private security company hired by the Empire.
Yeah.
The way that it is structured is like a UK metropolitan police force.
There's very British
by their ranks and
influences.
Stuff. Like he's all
and
like
even
he's
accents.
He's the inspector and stuff.
Yeah.
And everything they do is very similar to the Brits.
Yeah.
Which is totally cool.
Fine.
And fine.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And it's funny because a lot of the stuff is relatable across nations. Right. So it doesn't really matter. So you can still understand the same thing. And you're right. There's a lot of the stuff that they do is very realistic. Like their how the chain of command acts. Like his commander was like, "Look, I'm going to be gone for this amount of time.
Yeah.
Don't mess things up.
Yeah, I'm just focused on
don't do this. Don't do this. Just don't
keep
mess
the status
up.
quo.
Yeah, just don't mess up and keep your feet off my desk."
Yeah.
And then the way he acts, again, you're right, is the typical brand new college student butter bar.
Yeah.
And he's like all gung ho, like, I want to go to Ranger School. Like, and like he just wants to be that guy.
Yeah. Not that guy.
And that's fine. Like if you're one of those people, that's fine. It's funny. Sure. It's entertaining.
It's just really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny and it's totally fine. And he plays his character very well, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Even his sergeant is so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, like I said, or like he said, there's a lot of things that they do, and it's like, all right, boys, and this is so. Like I said, he's the fresh butter bar, right?
Yeah.
This sergeant is like
a seasoned gunny or something.
No, he's like this. He's like the NCO. He's like the E5, who's been deployed like once or twice. Maybe E6 deployed like once or twice. Right. He's got this like misguided like conception of how things should be because he's been there, done that, and like I'm not taking that away from them, but like sometimes now they're in a position that like that doesn't apply here.
Right.
Like for example, he's like, he comes up to him. He's like, "Oh, what is your opinion? How much guys do we need?" He's like, my experience, sir, we need like 12 guys minimum. We should, infill here, meet up here. And he's got this whole planning and stuff, which is great. And then, but the way he like acts throughout the mission, it's like, bro, you don't need to be doing that. Like,
calling for
comms
like every 5 seconds.
Exaggerates things when like at times, which is again, it happens a lot. And he's like, we got to do this. Like I've done this. We need to just do this. Like, cool, all right, but like, you still need to like realize what's actually going on and not just
and adjust to
not just you got to be able to adapt to what is put in front of you.
I loved the dynamic between them. I loved
he's hilarious. His speech, like he's going off in the speech and he's like looking around the platoon. And then there's this one guy who's like, come on, bro. Like, nobody wants to hear this, sir. Yeah. And so he sees his like expression. And so he cuts his speech and then it just ends awkwardly. And
he's like, good luck to us all.
And then the sergeant's like, yeah.
And then he comes up to him after and he's like, well said, sir.
Yeah.
Taps him. It's so great.
It's funny.
And then even during the combat as well, like,
during the combat is when the sergeant starts losing his
credibility.
Yeah, credibility.
except for at the end, like at the very end, after they blow up the little car transport thing, and this guy, the lieutenant, is just standing there shell shocked.
Oh yeah,
no idea what to do.
He picks up and it
Yeah.
ends up, like being
Yeah,
okay.
he's like, "Get
Because
out
he's
of
like,
it. We
we
gotta
need to
get out
go,
of here."
sir.
Yeah.
And he's just like a deer in the headlights. Yeah, which is what I would expect, and it's hilarious.
But it's just so great that it's like, even in this super futuristic, far out place that has all this technology and all this stuff, that there's still young dumb officers that just
And then those
just get all glory driven and end up looking like idiots in the midst of
and
combat.
even their like lower enlisted guys like. They fall for the trap of the lady, and she's like, "You don't want to know what happens when the beating stops." And she's just bluffing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yep, nope, no thanks," and they just dip. Which, I mean, to be fair, I would do the same thing because it's an awkward place to be, right? Like, I don't know this place. They don't want us here. They might kill us. Like, I don't know. Like, let's just get out of here, bro.
It was great. That whole aspect of it was great. I really enjoyed them, other than their uniforms.
I want more of that. I actually think I actually think they're pretty cool. The only issue I have is their PCs.
Oh,
I don't like that. That's
visor.
the only thing they wear.
Oh,
like,
you want some kind of helmet or something?
like if he was wearing it, that's fine because he's the officer.
Right.
I want the enlisted guys to be wearing a different styled hat.
Sure.
It's a super
minor
nitpick
detail.
thing.
I don't like the orange. I don't like it.
I think it looks good. It's futuristic. I feel like it's funny because like I think it's hilarious that the lieutenant is like, I had my custom tailored uniform. Like, come on, bro. Like, and that happens.
Yeah,
like people
100%.
do that in the military.
Yeah, 100%.
You may not realize it, but like there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, they tailor their OCPs
because especially the females, they want to look a certain way in their uniforms, so they spend the extra money.
Sure,
just waste of time. But
it's also
there's even
defeats the whole purpose of the uniform. But
yeah, I know lots of guys that did it because they just wanted to like
broad shoulder.
Look bigger than they really are because of how they tailor it. That's fine. You do whatever as long as it's in your regulations. Yeah. Doesn't hurt anything. Yeah. But it's just funny that he's like.
What I will say about the uniforms is that it does distinguish them amongst like all of the other.
Oh, for sure. And the biggest thing too is like they're known. Like people, they call them all the Blues haven't been around here. So it's kind of like cops, like in real life.
Yeah, the 5-0. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't care for the orange, but whatever. I mean, that's not a reason why I dropped down my score or anything. It's just a personal preference that I don't care for.
Yeah. I mean, it's not my favorite color, but I think it looks good.
Outside of that, I love them. I love the cool. dynamic. Yeah, it's so great. Yeah. Like it just makes me feel like I relate to them so much.
Right. Like this is
because I've had that speech. I've had a butter bar try to.
That's why I want like the Clone Wars for this kind of dynamic, but live action.
Yeah.
So if you can give us Bad Batch in live action, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because that show's really good too.
Yeah. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a whole, like Taylor said, there's not a whole lot of like actual story development that happens in the first and second episode. Most of it happens in the third. But at the very beginning of the first episode, Andor or Cassian goes to Morlana 1 and is looking for his sister apparently, and he goes to essentially a stripper bar.
Yeah,
and is looking for her because
it's definitely in the red light district.
Yeah,
it was literally he's walking down.
Yeah, I literally said it out loud too. I was like, "Oh, this is the red light district."
Yeah. It's obviously portrayed that way.
But he is looking for his sister, and at the time we didn't know he had a sister. But he's looking for somebody from Kenari, and these two guys harass him. And he
doesn't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like you either.
It was very reminiscent of that, I will say. And I actually liked that. I actually liked that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
He was in a cantina type setting at a bar, and there's these two guys that are just heckling.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say I guess no legitimate reason.
Yeah. Initially, there was no reason, but then.
It's just because the girl was. Yeah. Getting his attention over theirs, even though they were there first.
Right.
But
So they're part of that security force that we've been talking about, and they chase him down in essentially an alleyway.
Well, they were I don't know. I guess they do work for that company, but they're not the cops.
Nah, they are. They're part of
The people say they want to be like cops, but they're not. The guys that come in later are absolutely cops because they have guns. These guys were like they call them as surveyors. So to me they almost sound like the neighborhood watch. Is what they kind of portray them as.
Where'd they get the gun from then?
Oh, I don't know. But they don't have uniforms or anything. They're just honestly they just look like thugs. But
I thought they were in uniform.
I don't remember them wearing uniform.
I thought they were. I could be wrong, but I thought they were in uniform, because they were supposed to be on duty at the time. Remember that when Cyril was talking to his commander?
Oh, that's right.
He was like, "Oh, they were they were at a brothel on duty." Yeah.
Well, everything about that was off limits.
Yeah.
So happens in the military too.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember for sure whether or not, but my point is that at this time we see Andor, and we talked about it briefly, but he shoots this guy, and this is what kind of kicks off the events of the story, because now he's essentially trying to hide and evade from the authorities because he killed two people from them, and he's he goes back to what is the name of the planet that he's on? Oh my gosh,
I don't remember. I didn't.
Isn't the city like Elix or Helix or something like that? But he goes back and he's trying to set up things in order for him to get off of the planet because he just killed somebody. So he calls in a favor from one of his friends, saying that the friend would be with him, or that the friend, if questioned, would say that he was with him last night. Ferrix, that's the name of it. Is that the planet or the city?
Planet,
okay. And then
isn't there like a saying that has that? Isn't it like something Ferrix?
I don't know.
I feel like there's a common phrase that's said in Star Wars with that.
Not to my knowledge, or off the top of my head at least. But there's that guy on the plane that was like, if you can't find it here, it's not worth finding. I don't know. That's what you meant. But,
no, there's like I could be wrong, but there's like a phrase that like that I feel like I've heard many times that like has Ferrix in it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But the rest of the episodes are spent him trying to find a buyer for a certain item that he has, and so he can get money, so he can get off the planet and go start a new life, essentially. But the person that comes to buy the item that he's trying to sell is none other than Stellan Skarsgård's character's name that we don't know how to pronounce, Luthen or something like that. And he is a buyer of stuff like that, but he also seems to be kind of like a talent finder for the rebel
undercover recruiter.
Yeah, essentially. And so he comes to Ferrix with the intention of recruiting Andor for his spy-like capabilities that he has. And at first, Andor is very resistant of it, and he even is like, he never actually says yes at any point. He just kind of has no other option, really. Because
he just has to get out of there.
Yeah, he's got to get out. And I gotta say, man, Stellan Skarsgård absolutely nailed his character, in my opinion. Like, I think he kills it. Like, I love the way that he plays his character. I feel like I'm watching a undercover talent finder for a spy agency kind of person. Like, that's what I feel like I'm watching. I don't feel like I'm watching the super nerdy doctor from Marvel's Avengers or whatever, or Thor or anything. Yeah. Like, he sells his character so well, in my opinion. And he's badass too. Like, his rules are kind of cool. Like, I like that. It's like rule number 2 or lesson number 2. Always make your exit before you enter the room or something like that.
He's like, I set up these these mines or like these charges, cell charges. When'd you
What'd
do
you
that?
do that?
Make your exit as you come in.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. I love that dynamic between him and Cassian because Cassian seems like a guy that's very confident, very has very or has really or has a large skill set of capabilities for fighting and stuff. Like he seems like he can handle himself, and then Stellan comes in here. He's like, actually, you don't really know anything.
You don't even need to really fight.
Yeah, you just blow people up. But let me teach you a few things.
But yeah, it's a cool dynamic between them. They both do a great job.
Yeah.
Whenever they're on screen.
I think that's what I'm most optimistic about is seeing more of their dynamic on screen because I really like it because it's very much, to me, it feels very much like a master Padawan kind of relationship.
Because I mean, when they try to evade,
yeah,
and he makes the car as a trap or distraction rather when they're trying to escape, super cool.
Yeah, so I really like it. I really like that part of it. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we have so far is just we see what Andor does in the first episode, and then the next few episodes are just him trying to figure shit out so he can get out of there, and then he runs into Luthen, and then now they have escaped and also killed a bunch of the cop people, and now they're gonna go fight for real. So
yeah, I mean we don't know like what their next like mission is or whatever,
right?
But they're all like everything that happens on this planet's not done yet. Too
definitely
like
not.
all the people, they hint a lot like the people are might do something.
Yeah.
There's the friend like you said who ends up because they send one lone like private or whatever to go take the ship to take like aerial surveillance.
Yeah.
And so he looks like a badass and just walks away by himself. That everybody's been gone. He's the only one who stayed, and he like hooked up the ship to like this just giant hunk of metal so that he would crash as soon as they take off.
It was great.
And it was cool. Looked badass. He dies, and we don't know what happens after that. But I imagine it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, there definitely is quite a few characters in the town that their story is not done yet because
even the super jealous guy.
Well, he gets shot. Bix's boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets shot.
Yeah, but we don't know if he's dead.
Yeah, that's true, but he kind of looked dead. He didn't move for a while.
Yeah, but have you seen Disney? Nobody dies.
Just take him to the, what is it called?
The mods, bro.
What is the guy? Yeah, I was to say, take him to the...
Bro, guarantee they got that mod guy right around the corner.
Yeah.
The same guy.
Yeah.
With his, like, bleached dreads. I don't even remember, like...
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a shop there.
Yeah.
He's going to come back and, he's going to be a bounty hunter for no reason. I don't know.
He's going to be a bounty hunter?
He's going to come back for vengeance.
Vengeance.
And then he's going to try
what's funny is they said vengeance.
Yeah, they do.
In this. And after they said it, I was like, vengeance.
I forget who it was that said it too, but yeah. Every time somebody says it, it's like...
actually, no. It was in Rings of Power. Because wasn't it Halbrand telling... It was Halbrand.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it wasn't this. Right. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we got so far, ladies and gentlemen. I like I said, am optimistic about the future of the show. I think there's a lot of things that were set up well in the first couple episodes. Sure, the first two were slow and could have been done differently, but I'm excited. I feel good. I'm not.
Yeah, no, the show's good. I'm just
why did
giving
it take
it problems
so long?
like just equally as everything else.
You're just trying to be the devil's advocate for this show. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying the show though, because
I enjoyed it.
These
and
two
it feels
are super good. Honestly, oh yeah, the security guys are all funny.
Yeah.
I don't care about the female
Bix
character. She's kind of pointless, to be honest.
She's your typical character that Taylor doesn't like.
Yeah. Well, no, because she's not whiny. She just has no purpose. And then the jealous guy, like, that was so predictable. Like,
I think
the moment he's introduced in the show, I'm like, you're like when you find out that he's supposed to be with the girl, like, oh great, he's gonna get jealous. He's gonna tell on Cassian. Then they're gonna come to the planet, and then it literally happens in front of your face.
We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We got 9 episodes left. 9 episodes to see what happens with Cassian Andor and what leads to the events of Rebel
all the
1.
cool stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to come because there's a lot of the trailer. What we saw in the trailer that we haven't seen yet. Like there's a lot
I
of.
never got to see the AKs.
Yeah, so we haven't seen any of
probably
that.
coming up though.
We haven't seen any of the Republic because there's shots of the Senate, right? There's shots of that other person that seems like she's some kind of officer in the Empire, but she's secretly with the Rebel Alliance. So like, there's a lot in the trailer that we haven't seen yet. So that gives me hope. And last thing that I just want to talk about and highlight real quick, and arguably my favorite part of the show so far, is my man with the 2 hammers up in the tower.
He does it like multiple times. That's just, see, I told you. That's just his job. Like, he's literally,
there's so many people.
He's literally, like, his entire life is devoted to being like
he's like a bellkeep, basically.
Yeah. Like, I don't think we have this in America, but in like Asia, they have these people that like used to like announce the time of the day. So like when he does it in the morning, that's like the 9 o'clock going to work. Like,
yeah, I love it. I think it's great. He's hilarious.
Cool. I love that he's like fully in it.
Yeah, he takes his job so seriously, and he's just it's so. He's got his headphones. He's like,
yep. He's got his form and everything. I love it.
And the reason why I love it so much is because there were so many people that were trying to read into that so much. Like there's so many articles and stuff that I saw.
Fair, we don't know if there's more later.
I doubt it. I think it's just meant to be he's meant to just be a timekeeper or something like that. Like I don't think he's.
Yeah, but I mean, like the rest of the town, like I said, it might not just be like him specifically, but.
Oh, everybody
the idea of like, because the whole town, like, that's how they announced everybody, like, oh, this is the enemies are coming. Like,
the British are coming. The British are coming.
Pretty much. Like, that's pretty much what it was. So. There might be like more stuff to it.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, he's super good.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you guys today. Let us know what you guys thought. Whoa, excuse me. Let us know what you thought of the first 3 episodes of Andor. Did you know that there were going to be 3 episodes on premiere day, or is that something that I just completely missed? Apparently,
I don't.
So, let us know what you guys thought down in the comments below. I'm optimistic and slightly excited, so I'm curious to know what you guys think. Thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media. You can find us at Any Kind Media Cast on Twitter and Instagram. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.